Hi, I'm making this video to show you what I think is the fastest way to make the blue and pink masks for the Chester County Hospital using the materials they've given us. These are to be cut in 7x9 squares, and if you have a stack of them at your sewing table with your ties already cut, these are 2.5 to 3 minutes per mask. Once you get going, they're just super fast. No pinning, no clipping, and you're fine. So first of all, I've already turned my 5/8 header over. Maybe you have a seam stick, or maybe you have cut a piece of cardboard, but that's always a nice at the sewing machine guide to use just to quickly turn over your header. We're going to use this jig that I'll demonstrate. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you again at the work table how this works. But for now, let's just get started. So I've marked this pink side down, this side in. So I just simply put the bottom of my mask against the first booklet, the first page of my jig, and just start folding over, creasing against the cardboard. And as I go back and forth, my mask is taking shape. And here I have a folded mask. I'll show you how I sew this. So I'm starting at the top left corner of the mask as it's being worn, and I will just insert a tie underneath, drop the presser foot. I've been pulling the needle over so that it's probably a 1/4 inch seam allowance or less, to get as close as I can. Back tack to secure, go straight down the side. Stop short of the next corner and take your second tie, lift the presser foot, tie underneath, and stitch it down. Secure it. All right. Pivot the mask toward you, and here I'm going to take the cardboard jig out of the mask. My pleats are pretty much still there. Stitch across the bottom. Stopping short, and if you go too far, as my machine just did all by itself, just back up a few stitches. Pick up your presser foot. I'm inserting the third tie. And now when I pivot, I'll just gently fold my pleats back in because they have been creased, and this stuff is pretty easy to work with. Stitch up this side of the mask. Coming into the last corner, take the fourth tie up with the presser foot, stitch it down, give it some security, and the mask is finished. Okay, here at the work table, I want to give you a little more information about the jig. I obviously made mine from a cereal box, and you can use a folder, the back of a tablet, whatever cardboard you have, but know that your weight will be different than the weight of my cardboard. So that is going to mean that your jig might have to be adjusted. Perhaps you'll have to take 1/8 of an inch off some of your pieces, or you may have to make them a little bit wider. How your cardboard stacks up on the edge is going to affect the turn of cloth or how much of the fabric is taken up by each fold. So I'll give you the measurements that have worked out for me with this cardboard, and other people who have used a cereal box have been fine with those measurements. But know that if you're pleating it and you see one of your pleats is uneven, you just have to look back to see which of these folds is causing that distress and change the width of the fold. When you have your center piece and your 3 folding assistants, you will always be marking which one you start with. And for me, it's on my left side and I'm face down with the bottom. And you can just sort of see how you would reverse engineer this. If you pleated a piece by hand, you would be able to measure and create your own lengths of cardboard to fit whichever size mask you were doing. So if you're not using a 7x9 piece, you could just take whichever finish size you want and create a jig to give you this sort of neat little folding device. I would also add that even how tightly you fold your fabric over and how tightly you crease it will impact the finished size of your mask. So just take a look and play with it and make it work for you. I'm going to put the finished measurements of these pieces down in the comments or below the video, and I'll jot them here as well in case you want to just do that at this moment. And you'll see that all you're doing is just when you make this, butt the first piece against your centerpiece, but the second piece against your centerpiece, but the third piece. You're making a booklet of uneven pages. My centerpiece for these masks for the Chester County Hospital at 7x9 unfinished edges is 3 3/4 inches. My first flap is 1 1/4. My second flap is 2 1/4, and my third is 3 3/8. On the right, which begins with the largest piece, I have 2 7/8, 1 7/8, and 1 1/4. I'm not an engineer. I approach this first mathematically, but again, when you start accounting for a turn of cloth, you have to make some changes. So this is the best I came up with. You will not offend me if you make one that's even more precise. I hope this works for you guys. I hope it just shaves some time off so we can make as many masks as we possibly can in the shortest amount of time. Thanks for watching.